So guys, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel today, Discovery Africa TV. And today, without wasting too much of your time, I'm going to be diving into one of the trending and important subject that has been circulating on social media. And I know a number of you must have actually come across it. That whether you read newspaper or on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, you'll have see some people come out and say some one or two things about this particular subject. And expect Nigerian, yes, you are actually see some Nigerians coming out, throwing out several agitations and comments in respect to this particular issue and what should be done by the federal government of Nigeria. Now, it's actually about what is ongoing between the Senate President, Akpabio, and Senator Natasha. Now, when this issue actually happened and it busted the hair and everybody begins to hear about it, we saw the wife of the Senate President came out and she began to defend her husband. You actually expect something like that from a good woman anyway, just defending her husband and all of that. But it's just an allegation and there's no evidence yet by even Senator Natasha herself. And not only that, we saw several women from Akpabio, protesting and calling for the arrest of Natasha because of what she did to Senate President Akpabio. And even though if the wife of the Senate President Akpabio says that she wants to sue Senator Natasha for what she's currently doing to her husband, calling it defamation of character or whatever name you want to call it, you understand, you are free to call it. I know a number of you watching this video, we also have some things you have in mind. You are free to drop your comment at the comment section of this video. One of the things that has been trending in respect to what should be done is the immediate suspension of the Senate President or probably him stepping down as the Senate President of the country. Now, do you think this is possible? And do you think Senate President Akpabio can be suspended or removed as the Senate President? Or do you think it can actually how do you think he can actually step down as the Senate President of Nigeria? You understand? Even before he actually became the Senate President, he's actually one of the renowned politicians in Nigeria, serving as the governor of Akpabio for several years. And after that, he actually won another ticket to actually represent his central district in the House of Senate. Now that he's not the Senate President and all of these allegations is coming after him, a number of Nigerians is coming out and are saying Akpabio must go, Akpabio must be removed. But if at the end of the day, all of these things is seen as false allegation, and Senator Natasha is actually seen at the end of the day as a liar, what do you think should be done to Senator Natasha? And if at the end of the day, all of what Senator Natasha is actually saying comes out to be true, what do you think should be done? This is all about justice, justice, justice. Justice for Senator Natasha and justice for Senator Akpabio. I know a number of you will side Natasha and some of you will side Akpabio. Whichever one, you are free to side whoever you want to side. But just like I said, it's all about justice and justice and justice. So guys, I'll leave you to the rest of the video to watch. This is Discovery Africa TV.
Let me say this, Ayo. You know the situation we see in universities whereby a student is continuously being failed just because she has not slept with the lecturer. That's what I've been facing, in simple terms.
Thank you. Professor Kila.
That is what I have been going through. Why did they have to pick on me to start the shift? There were other senators that were in front of me that would have filled the seat. Why did it have to be me to fill in the seat at the far corner? But I will say this again. If you see where I sit at the back, there is a silent degrading of senators that, as they say, came from court.
Yeah.
We are made to feel as if we are lower than our other colleagues that resumed office and were sworn in earlier than us, even though we're all first-timers. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I remember when I asked, initially, I asked why I was not sitting amongst my other first-time colleagues.
Yes.
And I was told that is because you resumed 6 months later. So it's almost like a punishment because I resumed 6 months later. Therefore, I have to sit or take seats or wait for my other colleagues whom we all ran elections with together and won together, even though we were rigged.
So Senator,
we were made to sit at the back.
It will be recalled that due to the feud between Akpabio and Natasha, which started last week when the relocation of the Kogi lawmaker's seat in the Red Chamber without her consent delayed plenary proceedings for some minutes, the Senate have since decided to refer Senator Natasha to the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee of the Senate. Joining us now on the show is the Senate spokesperson, Senator Yemi Adaramodu. Good morning and welcome to the morning show, Senator Adaramodu.
Good morning, my dear sister. Good morning, my brothers who are there.
All right.
And you have a very fantastic job, and then I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Good morning, my brother.
Thank you, sir. We've been looking forward to a response from the Senate.
Auntie Ayo, Garufai, and
Thank you, Senator. All right, okay, so we've been looking forward to a response, an official position from the Senate with regards, I talked about already in my introduction that Senator, hold on, sir, let me just complete my question. That Senator Akpabio is going to be referred to the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. However, before we get into the meat of the conversation, I just want an official position. What is the position of the Senate on sexual harassment broadly? Is there a policy on that in the workplace? And then when an accusation is made, what is usually the next step? You know, just a way, just broadly, because I think that's also come up a lot in conversation. That what is the Senate's position on that?
Yes. Oh, that's very good. That's a very good way to start. Once again, I want to say good morning to all Nigerians and to those people who have been so apprehensive about the happenings, the goings on in the Senate just of recent. Like I said earlier, I said it was a storm in the teacup, but it is now becoming a content that we are now trending. Very unfortunate, quite egregious. And like you asked, my sister, in the Senate, we have rules, like any other organization for that matter. There are rules. Section 60 gave us that, of the Constitution, gave us that right to set our own rules for ourselves, internal rules that guide us. And then we call it standing orders. And it's a booklet that is given to every senator on resumption of legislative business in the National Assembly. So we all have this. And then when you go to Order 6, 1 and 2, it was expressly stated there that the Senate President shall allocate seats to each senator. Then the second rider is that wherever you are allocated to, that is where you can be permitted, you can be allowed to even contribute. Like my sister even spoke about Order 10. Then you know you will count 6 before you can count 10. And when you even go to that 10, it says you can raise point of order on privileges. Yes, you can. But you have to raise that point of order when you are in order. So if you are not in order, you cannot raise a point of order. It does not mean that when the senator is in his own office, then he can be raising his point of order from his office. So it is like that if you are not well seated. So that what we are saying is that comply with the order. If you comply with the order, then you raise your hand. You raise a point of order. There is no Senate President that will not recognize you. If after complying, if after staying where you are supposed to be, and then you are now raising a point of order, and the Senate President is not recognizing you, it is the whole Senate that are going to upbraid the Senate President that, please, you have to recognize her. Right. And then from there, you can now make, you can now tell the whole Senate that where you are taken to sit, camera will not catch you if you want to do camera caching. Or you cannot raise up your hand that you are going to be saying, yes, now that is where you raise it. And then all other issues, that's where you can raise it. Then going to the sexual harassment issue.
That's the question I asked.
Harassment is which you mentioned.
Yes,
going to that one.
Not just specifically to her.
A premise for it.
Yes, not just specifically to her. I asked broadly, what is the Senate stance on sexual harassment?
To anybody for that matter, in this case, there was never a case of sexual harassment.
No, I'm not asking you. No, I just wanted. No, I just wanted a policy. Yes, your policy position.
If there's any. Yes, the policy position is that if there is any situation like that, and it is confirmed that there's any situation like that, the Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition Committee will be revved up to take it up. And then if it is found that it is true, then that senator for that matter, whoever, that senator for that matter, will face the music. That is it. That is it. It is like any other misdemeanor in the Senate. It's not only sexual harassment. Any kind of harassment for that matter.
Okay.
So it's not only sexual harassment.
Okay.
Any misdemeanor.
Okay.
Any misdemeanor.
Okay, Senator Aramodu, good to talk to you.
Yes, I'm my brother.
I'll ask you a couple of questions. Number one, are you now saying that after this matter is already in public glare, we still need to write officially to the Ethics Committee for them to start their investigation? Or I thought that as this matter is a national matter that impugns on the integrity of the Senate, the Ethics Committee should also pick it up and start the investigation. That's number one. Number two, I've been waiting for you to come. Welcome, sir. And I say welcome, sir, because the Senate should please also tell us about the 170 billion extra that was added to the Senate budget, said to be for contracts and projects and things like that, after already collecting 344 billion. At a time we say Nigeria is in dire straits. And I want you to react to Ireti Kingibe's statement that she made when she said that Natasha had told her, Senator Natasha Akpabio had told her that the Senate president had asked her to come for a meeting in a hotel. So that was number one person confirming that narrative. What would you say as regards that? 3 questions, sir. Number one, do we need to bring the case to the Senate? Okay.
Yes.
I can remind you as you go on. Yes, sir.
Yes, number one. Yes, I will connect everything. So number one, the issue of bringing it to the Ethics Committee. It's like when you say some people have an AFRI at the motor park, that the court will just go and pick it from the motor park where nobody has made any complaint in the court, when nobody has sued, when nobody has brought any case to the court, or maybe either through the police or personally. So definitely in the Senate, we don't conduct our affairs on maybe when we pick something up from Facebook or in the media, and we just rush to the chamber and we start conducting our affairs on that. We don't do that one. There must be an explicit, straightforward complaint from any senator, for that matter, about any misdemeanor that person alleges that another senator, not only the Senate president, even if it is me, that the senator has committed against him or her. That is, then it will come, the senator will raise it and we drop it, and then the Senate as a whole will now decide that this is necessary, this is worth it to go to the ethics, privileges, and public petition
Senator,
committee.
real quickly.
That is
real
what
quickly,
is done.
for the
So
sake
that
of,
is about that one.
Real quickly, for the sake of interaction, please. Sorry.
Yes.
Cases like Sex for Marks, they were issues that were social media generated and the documentary, and the Senate picked them up to investigate them. So what you are saying now, that this matter is not of national importance a lot to the Ethics Committee to pick it up. There was a petition. There was a petition. On that one, I can tell you. I was there. Okay,
I was there. There was a petition.
I accept.
And the senator and the senator rose up. Yes.
Okay, so this one now, there needs to be a petition
as a matter for
Okay. Oh yeah, I move to the next question.
The senator rose up to raise it matter for public importance, and that senator was allowed to raise it. He moved it as a motion. That's why it was considered then. The second one is that, budget. When you consider the value of National Assembly budget of 2024, look at 2023, look at 2024. 2023, 2024, and that of 2025, the initial one were almost the same. And then the budget of 2024 was 27 trillion. While that of 2025 rose to 54.9 trillion. Now, are you telling me, are we saying that the budget of the National Assembly, which is a tier of government, should now remain static, when other tiers of government, either the executive and the judiciary, they have a lift up in their budget? When you look at what goes to each of the ministries and these of the sectors, now they have a lift at least of maybe a few percentages, then if the National Assembly, which is another tier of government, is now having a lift of that 170 billion, I don't think that is very egregious. I don't think that is what we can now say. Maybe the National Assembly has padded again, just to use that connotation. So the issue was that in the 2023 budget, it was before 18 trillion to 23 trillion. Then 2024, it was 27 trillion to 34 trillion after all the other supplementary budgets. Then in 2025, it is 54.9 trillion naira. And then when you now give the National Assembly a tier of government the same amount, you gave the National Assembly the previous budget. Now, what percentage of the budget is of the National Assembly is the total budget of Nigeria? And which is a tier of government. And then even add up that 170 with the 342 billion. So it is still not up to 500 billion. And then out of 54.9 trillion. So what percentage of it is not even up to 1?
Okay, Senator, if you add up, I think it's a little over 500 billion, if you add up, anyway. Okay, so we still have Senate spokesperson, Senator Yemi Adaramodu here. And the last question I did ask you, sir, Senator Reti Kingibe did confirm that Senator Natasha Akpabio had told her
I was going to that.
That they saw in an hotel, that the Senate President was going to meet her up in an hotel. So what's your take on that?
Well, I cannot have any take on that. Is Senator Reti Kingibe that if she said so, is the only person that can have a take on that.
But is it part of your Senate ethics for the Senate President to be meeting people in hotels, fellow members of the Senate in hotels? Is it, especially female member, is it part of your Senate ethics?
That question...
I'm just asking, is it part of your Senate ethics?
Like I said, no. Like I said, you said Senator Reti Kingibe said so. And I don't know in what context that Senator Reti Kingibe said that.
Let me give you the context.
I'm not sure whether it was true or not.
It's in the context,
I'm not sure whether it is true or not.
It's in the context of Natasha.
All I know is that all I know is that if there is any oversight function anywhere, we do go to do oversight. And then if I like I said, I don't know in what context. I don't know in what context. Not in any hotel. I know the Senate President will not just invite another senator to come to an hotel. So I didn't listen to that interview. So that's why I said in what context that I cannot just be commenting on a context that I'm not aware of, that I don't even know anything about. And I didn't even hear that one from Senator Reti Kingibe because I watched that interview about 3 or 4 days ago. I watched it. So I didn't see, I didn't know the time. I didn't know the time that she said so. So that she confirmed in her, I don't know. So that's between the two senators. It's not, that's not for the Senate.
Senator,
I speak for the Senate. That's not for the Senate to be deceived.
Senator Adaramodu, Senator Adaramodu.
I don't really know. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure that Senator Reti Kingibe, that was what she said because I was listening to the interview.
Senator Adaramodu, the tape is there. There's an empirical fact that she said it. It's also been reported in many dailies. If you don't have the tape, you can go and watch the interview again. Thank you. Professor Killer.
Senator Adaramodu, good morning again to you. Clearly...
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah.
Clearly there's a rift in the Senate between the Senate President and another senator. Shouldn't you and other senators, the whole of the Senate, trying to make peace between them? I mean, should that not be the instinctive step to take?
Yes.
Close to that.
That's a very good...
Yes. Go ahead.
That's a very good suggestion. That's a very good suggestion. Yes. We did make peace on the floor of the Senate on February 20, last week Thursday, when this incident occurred. And what happened was that immediately Senator Natasha Akpabio raised her voice that she wanted to talk even while she was not sitting where she was supposed to sit. And she was raising her voice. Even the Senate President, instead of muting her own microphone, he did not do that one. He allowed her to maybe just express herself. Then other senators were now pacifying her. Sit down, don't do this, don't do that, including the minority leader of the party that she belongs to. So definitely the Senate and the senators, they have been making peace with that and on that. And fortunately, when the Senate reconvened on the following legislative day, Senator Natasha did not come to the chamber that day. And then the Senate raised the issue that generated throughout the weekend and the previous week. That was when they said the Senate resolved that, okay, the ethics, privileges, and the public petition committee is the one that we now call the senator involved, talk to her, advise her, necessarily teach her, tell her what to do. And then that will be the end of it. And in fact, the Senate caucus of Kogi State, on behalf of Senator Natasha, had rendered an apology, which the Senate has even already taken. So the next, maybe a few days after, 2 or 3 days after, our sister now came to arise and now maybe started another topic entirely. That is what now brought the present fiasco to the fore. To the fore. So the Senate, yes, on its own would have sorted everything out
in that way.
That's why I said. That's why I said the initial thing was just a mere storm in a teacup. It would have. Because
but Senator Daramodu,
like any assembly, it's not a graveyard.
Yeah, Senator Daramodu,
yes,
now that we've gone past the storm in a teacup, yes, and we have a national salacious crisis or drama going on, knowing your fellow senators, 108 of them left, we make 109, including yourself.
Yes.
Knowing them, do you think some of them will be gracious, courageous, concerned enough to come up with a petition in the next few hours or next few days? Or you think they will just leave it and life goes on?
My brother, all senators are equal in the chamber. All senators are equal in the chamber.
Yes.
There's no senior, there's no junior.
Yes.
We are all voted for. We all are representing our constituencies in the National Assembly. No senator must be very timid to the point that if he or she has anything to raise on the floor of the National Assembly, that he or she should not be able to raise it. No senator should be. Nobody is tied to the purse string of the other person. So the issue of maybe my colleagues might be maybe timid not to raise whatever they wanted to raise. Is it out of timidity that even our colleague, our sister, Senator Natasha, raised all the allegations she raised? Is it out of timidity? It's not. It's not out of timidity. She wanted to raise what she wanted to raise. Initially, I said it. I said, if we are not going to be creating content so that we be trending, and the content has already been created now, and we are trending. So if we are not going to do that one, what we are supposed to raise on the floor of the National Assembly, in the chamber, would have been raised. And if our sister had anything, any issue, any axe to grind with any senator, be it even myself or the Senate President, if she has orderly behaved or properly got seated that day, she would have raised up her hand and raised whatever she wanted to raise. But the issue now is that when something is in the public domain, like my brother, my brother Rufai said, that now can't we just take it to the National Assembly and then start deliberating on it? I said, no, we cannot. Because we do not do our legislative business right from, on media or pages of newspapers or on Facebook. We do not. So it is only what is before us that we talk about, that we debate. And then all of us, like I said, we are all equals. Either you are a female senator or you are a male senator. We are all equals when we get to the chamber. In fact, we do not even talk about parties when we get to the chamber.
All right, sir. All right, so very quickly, I don't know if you've seen a statement made by the president of the 8th Assembly, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, in a statement titled, Akpabio Natasha, let's protect the institution, not individuals. In fact, he used the opportunity to talk about his own experience while he was Senate president, saying that at the time he subjected himself to appearing before the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee, and that he was also able to step aside and allowed his deputy preside when the matter came to the chambers for debate. Would you suggest that once the petition has been delivered to the Senate, that it would be in the best interest of the integrity of the Senate for Senate President Akpabio to step aside whilst the investigation is ongoing, just so that there's fairness, equity, and to allow due process take its place?
Thank you very much, my great sister. Senator Bukola Saraki, the former Senate President, yes, he could have advised the way he has done. Ordinarily, even while as Senate President then, there were so many allegations, either by senators, either from outside the Senate then, even targeted against him, and then there was never a time that he had to step down for investigation to be carried out. But in this matter, like I said, there is presently no matter before the Senate. Only the only matter that is before the Senate now is the matter between Senator Natasha and the rest of the Senate that is not complying with the standing order of the Senate. That one is there. Then no other issue. Then if there is anything that comes tomorrow or any day for that matter about any senator in the National Assembly, be that senator the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, or myself, then the Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition Committee, once it is referred to them, so it is that committee that is going to determine the mode by which it is going to treat such a petition. And then, because it is going to be taken as an internal affair. It is an internal affair to the extent that it is a senator versus another senator. So, and you know that in the Senate, which is the hallowed chamber, we enjoy that kind of absolute privilege. That whatever we do, whatever we say within the Senate chambers is not actionable in court. So because of that, the ethics and the Public Petition Committee, they know that one. And so if there is any petition for that matter that comes, not this that we are even discussing, anything that comes, it is that committee that is going to, and the Senate does not even run that committee with the committee members. The Senate President does not even run it with the committee members. It is an independent committee, and it is one of the standing committees of the Senate that was inaugurated first before other committees were inaugurated when we resumed legislative duties. All
right, just in one statement, I asked you a direct question. Would you advise the Senate President to step aside whilst the investigation is ongoing?
Over what?
Just yes or no. If it does come to the Senate, over this matter, would you advise the Senate President to step aside if the matter comes in for fair investigation?
My voice does not matter. It is the voice of the total Senate that matters in that. It's the voice of the total Senate that matters. My voice does not matter in it. So we ask that question from the senators, 108 of us.